I always knew that I loved writing songs and stories and music and all of that, but I'm also a very private person, and I think a lot of times when people become pop stars, you're very much a puppet and kind of just doing what other people tell you to do or what other people tell you to say, and everything is about how your business is going to get affected, and you can't really act from a genuine place. And I feel like I saw that from a young age, and all of that made me very turned off to the idea of even wanting that for myself. There's such a broad spectrum to what being Latina or being Colombian is, and I feel like people don't really show all of Colombia. They don't show the Afro-Latinas, the indigenous Latinas, and I think representation is something always really important to talk about and let people know that they're beautiful as they are. To be able to represent, like nobody comes out of Pereira, nobody, like a lot of people, even in Medellin, are telling me like, where is Pereira? I never even heard of Pereira. So to be able to represent for my city and also to be able to represent for VA, I grew up right outside of DC in northern Virginia. It's like the DMV area is its whole own subculture. So I feel like in general, to be able to go back home to the DMV and represent for other Latina girls, and to be able to go back home to Pereira and have little girls looking at me like that is so special to me, because I want them to know that they can really do anything that they want to do and be who they want to be, and never to limit themselves based off of what other people's ideas of what they should look, say, or do is. This was my second album, so I just felt like as an artist, since I'd started, I had always done songs in Spanish, but I had never done a full project in Spanish, and I always wanted to. I think that God doesn't make mistakes, and God made me bilingual for a reason. God gave me the experience of growing up in Latin America and growing up in the United States for a reason. So I didn't realize why it would be such a big deal for anyone who had to do with my business or my label. That I wanted to sing in Spanish. I didn't realize why it was a conflict. But so many people were saying that it was going to be moving backwards. So originally when I first started writing it, I didn't even think it would count as an album in my contract, because my contract said only English language albums would count as albums. So I really looked at it as a passion project. Multicultural people, a lot of my fans can relate to me, even if they're not Colombian or American, because a lot of people at the end of the day have those feelings of an endless search of trying to find somewhere to belong. And I think a lot of the human experience and journey, unfortunately, torments a lot of people with that, trying to find belonging and trying to find who loves us and where we're most valued and where we fit in, when we don't necessarily need to find those things. But my experiences as a person who has dual citizenship and who grew up in both places definitely, I feel like, gave me an understanding of that from a young age. Fame is not something I was ever interested in, and I really don't understand why people want that. I think that the most interesting thing is being able to make a positive difference in people's lives, have your art be a real contribution to society. So yeah, I don't think anyone should ever chase fame. I think that it's really easy to get attention, especially with the internet. It's so easy to get attention, but the hardest thing to get is respect, and respect is always going to be more important than attention. Being able to forge a path for other artists, for other people who are struggling with their identity, for other Latin artists, LGBTQ artists, that's really special for me. And that's what made it all worth it for me, because it was definitely challenging to release this album.